Thoughts can change your life. With me, Reverend Wolak. We're here each and every day, 8 a.m. or thereabouts, and we explore life together by asking questions. And so today, I know people are experiencing a lot of contrast, and a lot of people are having a lot of hard time with it. And it's so much easier to deal with things in life when we have a state of calm, a state of equanimity about us, as opposed to being manic in one direction or the other. And so what really comes back to me is the whole idea is that we simply forget that life is always in balance. We are challenged as much as we are supported, and we're supported as much as we are challenged. But when we don't see it that way, we have an experience that leads us either real high, which we'll come down from later, or real low, and we don't think we can come up from, but we will come up from it. And it goes on with the whole idea of one of my favorite sayings is that this too shall pass. Everything passes, everything moves on, because guess what? It always comes back to balance. The pendulum swings this way, and guess what? It comes back in balance, swings the other way. Sometimes it may swing and then go back, swing, go back. But we have to remember that there's balance. If there wasn't balance, the universe would self-destruct. Yeah, it would self-destruct. We could not live in balance. So if we can pursue our lives knowing, even though we're experiencing an extreme high or an extreme low, that there's balance, we just have to open our eyes to see it, our life will take on a different meaning, a completely different meaning. And we'll be able to go through life with a sense of, how about if I use the term wisdom? Yeah, it's a sense of wisdom. The wise person fully understands that balance is always there. Always there. Now, some people may be looking at life and say, well, wait a second. That person over there has a lot more money than I do. How is that in balance? Well, that person over there has a different consciousness about money than you have, or someone else has. Now, that person with money is benefited by that money, and they are equally challenged by that money. The more money you have, the more you have to be involved in the managing of that money. It takes up more time. There is a balance involved with becoming rich. There's a balance involved as you become more popular. There's always a balance. What happens, though, is when we get attached to the idea that I can have it all one way, we set out an unrealistic expectation from which we will fall from. We will come crashing and burning down. That's where all depression, all anxiety comes from. It comes from unrealistic expectations set by ourselves, set by others that we have bought into. I like to set realistic expectations for myself, knowing that I'm always moving forward. And that's really a key thing. And I talk about this all the time. And I talk about it as we are meant to grow in our level of awareness. We are not meant to stay stagnant. I don't care where you live in the planet, what your experience is, there are ways to increase your level of awareness. And one of the ways to increase your level of awareness is to become aware that life is always in balance. And if you see that life is always in balance, then guess what? You won't envy anyone else. Isn't that an interesting idea? If you know that someone over there who has something that you want is equally challenged and supported with whatever that is, why would you envy them? Because you envy when you think someone has something and there's no challenge to it. Yeah, there is. You just got to open your eyes to see it. And I've witnessed this so many times in my life. I've had it pointed out to me in the most severe cases of life where someone loses a child to murder. How is their balance? You can take that situation and you can find the balance. I know there was a gentleman, Azim Kamisa, I believe was his name. And he had a son that was murdered by a gang member. And he talks about his transformation that he had to go through about radical forgiveness. How what happened is he ended up meeting the grandfather of the man who murdered his son. Eventually met with the murderer of his son, did forgiveness work. Now both families joined together to work with the gangs to try to bring peace. That wouldn't have happened without the horrific act. He tells the story much better because he has lived the story all of his life. But when you hear the story, you just go, wow, that's a truly aware person. Truly aware person. What are you struggling with out there? Give me something. I got a few moments. I'd love to chat with you about what's going on in your mind. And I see all of you that are Twin Cities here, Zach's here, Bilal's here, Easy Funshine is here, Renee, Zoe, Petra, Ian. What's on your minds? All of you who haven't checked in, give me a hello. Say something. In the world today, we've got what? Thank you, Adita. Thank you for checking in. We've got COVID running rampant, don't we? What's good come out of COVID? I wasn't doing these daily talks before COVID. I wasn't leading guided meditations before COVID. I didn't know people from around the world that are now following me. They're students. I'm more focused on my own personal health than ever. COVID is there to wake us up. Do you get that? Wake us up because we got numb. We got numb. We took things for granted. We take our health for granted. We took our health for granted. We took life for granted. I appreciate my life, the life of the people that I love more than ever. Do you? Don't take it for granted because every moment is so precious. People had less distractions because everything was closed. It was, if they realized it, Ian, because some people with everything closed, all they did was bitch and moan. Other people took it as a sign, let's do something different. Adidas says, best part of COVID, more connectivity between people, quality time with loved ones. You know, they talk about the love languages out there. Love languages are quality time, acts of service, words of praise, physical touch, and gifts. Guess what? For me, quality time is the single best love language. That's my love language. Quality time is number one. And so with COVID, I had to find ways to get that quality time, not only with my wife and my sons and my granddaughter, but with everyone. How do you get quality time? I found that I can do this via the medium of Zoom or the broadcasting on a platform like this on YouTube and on Facebook. Quality time can be had, but you have to be open to the possibility. You have to be open to the possibility. Zach says, struggled staying on a plant-based diet until COVID. Yeah, some people have changed their whole eating habits during this process. Some people, unfortunately, Zach may have gotten on a plant-based diet, probably lost a few pounds. They're saying what? The average person in COVID has gained like 19 pounds? Really? Really? Let me ask a question. 78% of the people that are hospitalized or die of COVID are obese. Don't be gaining weight. It's not good for your odds. Not even that. It's so much better when you have a healthy, vibrant body, because then you can more fully live life. That's why I work at health, because I want to enjoy every single moment of this life. I want to experience all of my senses to the last breath I take at 124 years of age. But I want to be able to function like I'm functioning today, and I'm functioning today like I did in my 40s, in my 30s. I may look a little older, but I'm still functioning the same way. There's the balance. I'm more mature because I'm 70, but I'm still functioning as a young person. There's always balance. That's the key thing. But it takes awareness to find the balance. Renee talks about red flags. You know what, Renee? Here's what I say. Do what you believe. I had no control of where this virus came from. I have no control over anything other than me. So when people ask me, what should I do? Should I take the shot or should I not take the shot? I say, what do you believe? Because the basis of everything I teach is, it is done unto us as we believe. Your beliefs create. Renee says, why aren't people questioning things? Real simple, Renee. They're just not aware. People have been dummied down. Here's the word. I'm going to be talking about this today with my beautiful Lebanon group today. We have been domesticated to not think. Did you just hear what I've said? We have been domesticated to not think. Our children go to school, or when I went to school, guess what? When did Columbus discover America? 1492. If you didn't know that answer, you got it wrong on your history test, right? Columbus never set foot on American soil. Columbus never did discover America, the United States of America, and yet we have a national holiday for him. We're taught, we're domesticated to not think for ourselves. And that's even true of our teachers. So what is this? This is a time to awaken. And you notice I start my podcast here every day and I say this. This is about questioning, because it's through questionings that we lead a more aware and fulfilled life. So I've done all I'm going to do today. I got a full day ahead of me. I bet you do too, but make sure it's one that you consciously create. And when you're looking around, realize there's both sides out there. There's always equal support and equal challenge. Everyone, until tomorrow, know that I love you and accept you just the way you are. But even more importantly, can you accept and love yourself just the way you are? Because that's all that matters. Until then, aloha.